Welcome back, guys. We're here today, the Theodore, Alabama Copart sublot, which is about to be turned into a main lot, 9401 Old Pascagoula Road. Come check them out, Theodore, Alabama. A lot of good cars out here. Seems like this is where a lot of the flood and hail stuff goes, which that's right, guys. We're here to check out some hail stuff today. A lot of hail cars coming through from a few big storms that just came through the last few weeks. Probably some of the storms you've seen me caught in out here. But we got a few we're gonna go look out here and check out. I got my coffee because I need it. Being able to only sleep about 2-3 hours a night, and let's get out here, see if we can find these cars. All right, guys. First one up on the list, 2002 Mr2 Spider. I actually really like these cars. I had a buddy named Jordan who had one of these back when I was in high school, and it was a fun little car, man. It was like a little go-kart, and that thing, it wasn't the fastest, but it was quick for what it was. But this is going to be a quick one. We're actually not even going to get too in-depth on this one, because one thing that I just seen that I didn't realize as I was walking by getting ready to start filming on it, and you'll see here, I didn't even know they made them like this. Did not even know they made them like this. But you guys see that? Ugh. Not only does that stink, but that shifter just also stinks. You know how I feel about automatics, especially for a car like this. I mean, how are you gonna... It's a Toyota Mr2 Spider. It's a little mid-engine rear-wheel drive. And I guess let me take a second just to... Maybe you guys don't know about this car in that aspect. It is... This car, very rare for, you know, you don't see too many cars out there like this, is a rear-engine car. They call it a mid-engine, but it's rear-engine car. And the car handles great because of that, being rear-wheel drive, mid-engine, rear-engine. The car really handles and drives. The handling on it, you really have to drive one to experience it to understand. It handles, it hugs the road so good, and they're just great driving, fun little cars. But only when they're 5-speed, not when they're automatic. And I'm sorry, anybody that likes automatic stuff out there. You know, there's a time and a place, and for the person, you know, everybody's opinions and differ, and everybody has something that they, you know, would prefer, and that's their own, you know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, this is just not something you get in automatic. Not something, it's not meant to be like that. It's meant to have a clutch and a shifter. And that's my, like I said, that's my opinion. But because of that, it's going to be a quick one, and we're going to be on to the next one. Next one up on my list, don't change the channel yet. Hear me out while I'm looking at this. This car I am looking at for a donor vehicle for the 2002 Mustang GT predicament that I've gotten myself into, and they both share the same 4.6 liter. You may be asking yourself, why would you want to pull an engine out of a good car like this? Well, let me do a quick walk around and show you. I actually didn't see this, but there's a pretty significant scratch here. And as we get around back here, you will probably figure out pretty quick why it is more of a parts vehicle. It actually has a salvage title, so you could fix this if you wanted to, and you know, retitle it as a rebuilt title. But to me, guys, I mean, tell me what you think, but to me, this, when something gets hit this hard in the back and it hits it hard enough to fold and crinkle in this area here, and especially, you know, you got overlap here, you got frame damage. I mean, this, not something I would want, you know, regardless of the previous condition and how well it was kept, mileage, low mileage, whatever, not something I would want to try to fix. And I mean, it can be done. I guess coming from me, I'm not a big body and paint person. Like, I know the processes, but I've never done it enough to, you know, get good at it, because I've gotten frustrated, kind of realized it wasn't really my bread and butter sort of thing. 56,000 miles on this one. And if I didn't mention it yet, it is a 2005 Grand Marquis, Mercury Grand Marquis. So I'm hoping this one will start, and as I say that, I can hear chiming from in there, so I think we got power here, guys. I think we'll be able to start it up. I'd like to hear, I mean, I'm assuming the engine on this one is probably fine. And let's go ahead, pop the hood on this and check out the fluids or anything before we try. I think it'll start. I think it'll probably start. It looks like it was very well kept, very well kept. And like I said, you know, this is going to be a potential donor car for the 2002 Hell Mustang that I got myself. And it is it's, as you can see, if you haven't seen yet, go back and watch the video. It's gonna need an engine. And here we have a 4.6 liter, which is, you know, as far as I know, they did have a couple different kind of 4.6s, a PI and an NPI. And from what I know, the intake manifold, exhaust manifolds, and possibly heads were different. But the main differences I've heard were the intake and exhaust manifolds, which after 2003, because I believe the 4.6 came out sometime in the 90s, after 2003, they all went to PI, which was the more performance-based version, which is what is in my car. So even though I could swap stuff around and make it work, being a little newer, this car is a 05. Like I said, this shouldn't require any kind of swapping over, maybe a few sensors or something like that, maybe the intake manifold, but I don't want to swap the heads. I want to get something that I can drop in as a complete long block, and just, if anything, maybe put the other intake manifold and swap a few sensors and get it running. So while we're in here, and like I said, guys, with 56,000 miles, this thing is probably gonna be perfectly fine. The transmission fluid, not that I want the transmission, but part of the reason why I'm looking at doing it this way is because it's going to help me break even on the cost of the engine, or at least maybe hopefully close to it, if I can part out the rest of the car. And that's if it sells for a good price. There may be someone out there that is going to bid this thing up to, you know, a higher dollar value because they plan on fixing it and reselling it. I don't know, but one of the rules, which you really got to, not only that I tell people to abide to, but you really have to make sure, like, you know, for yourself, you really got to make sure you set a price that you're comfortable with. Do your homework, do your research, go online. I use Kelley Blue Book and NADA, but I also use just like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Find similar cars in the area that are, you know, almost just relatively same mileage condition cars. See what they're selling for, because that'll give you an idea what to bid these for here, and, you know, a max bid, and then stick to that bid. Don't let it get personal like I do, and overbid stuff and get yourself into bad situations where you're going to be losing money. Because there's a lot of times where I could have bought something on Craigslist for cheaper after I got done fixing all the problems with it, and trust me, that stuff is no fun. I try to look at it as learning experiences. Oil looks good, to be expected. Oil looks good. I try to look at it as learning experiences, guys, and, you know, try to help use that experience to keep it from happening again in the future. But for some reason, I always manage to, every time I think that I'm like steering clear of that kind of stuff, I prove myself wrong again. Coolant looks good. It's the gold Ford coolant. Batteries from 519. We checked the fluids. Everything looks good, guys. I don't see any leaks on this engine. Looks dry, you know, to be expected for 56,000 miles. And we're gonna go ahead and start her up, see how she sounds. We don't have to leave it running too long. I just want to hear if it sounds, just make sure it doesn't have any knocks or anything, or, you know, once we get it started, it's no leaks or anything. Well, here we go. First startup. Okay, a little bit of the 4.6 kind of ticks and clicks, but nothing. I've had a lot of 4.6 and 5.6 Triton engines, and when they sit for a few days and the oil kind of drains down, I've noticed that that's pretty a common thing with them. They always make a little, you know, cold click startup kind of noise. Should we go ahead and pop the trunk, see what's in the trunk? Kidding. Obviously, we can't pop the trunk. While we're in here, let's see if the AC works. I heard the compressor kick on. I bet it does work. I mean, this car was taken care of, guys. You can see the oil change sticker up here. 61,000 miles, so you're well, it almost just got changed. AC's getting cold. Yeah, this is a good one, guys. If I can get this car for a good price, this will be a perfect donor vehicle. And I also am gonna record the swap process as much as I can to the best of my ability. I am still learning, obviously, so please cut me a little slack, and please, you know, comment below if you had any suggestions for stuff you want to see or anything I can do better, because that's, you know, feedback from you guys, the best way for me to get better with this stuff and get better at what I'm trying to do here. So definitely comment, please like, subscribe, share the videos. You know, I really want to make this fun for everybody. It's fun for me, and I want to make it fun for you guys too. And I'd like to make it a, you know, interactive channel that is completely transparent. As far as whenever I buy something, I want to let you guys know what the stuff is costing me, and, you know, what kind of situation I get myself into, good or bad. I want to show you the good and bad out here at the auction, and you know, I'm completely transparent as far as what you can get yourself into, because there's a lot of good too. I mean, a lot of profit to be made out here too. And I've pretty much seen enough of this car, guys. I mean, it's take a quick look underneath here, make sure it's not leaking anything. Which I doubt it is. This is a good one, guys. For a swap car for that Mustang, this is exactly what I need. I'm gonna be watching it. Definitely gonna be bidding on if it stays for a good price. I think it was already pre-bid to 200 bucks, which is, I gotta see what, I gotta kind of give it a little thought and make sure I'm not gonna get myself into another overpaying situation, because this Mustang, I need to get as much a good deal as I can to be able to make sure I can at least break even on this thing. And like I said, if you guys haven't seen that video yet, go back and watch the 2002 Mustang video. It's a good example of what you get yourself into out here in a not so good way. But that being said, we are gonna get on to the next one. All right, guys, you've seen it before, and I just wanted to show you again because it went through the auction last week again, and it did not bring the seller's minimum bid, so it was relisted at a $500 buy it now, which is so tempting for me. I actually got rid of the transmission I had because I'd seen it at $650 and I just figured it was going to sell, but it is still here. $500 buy it now price. Runs and drives GS 398 with flood damage, 178,000 miles. Guys, tell me what you think. Do I pull the trigger on the 500? I'm so close. Or do I wait and see if I can get it a little cheaper? It's been going down every week. It was like 900, then it went 850, 650, and now it's at $500. Buy it now, which you got about 300 in fees on top of that. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Quick shout out while we're out here. Benjamin Franklin, the Punctual Plumber. Call him up. Call him up. The Punctual Plumber, Benjamin Franklin. If there's any delay, it's you we pay. Look at that. That's cool. Next up, 2014 Honda Accord, hail damage. And some pretty bad hail damage. We got some pretty big dents on the side, and like I said, guys, the white hides this stuff pretty good. So you really, I mean, looking at the hood from certain angles, you don't really see any dents. But then you get into other angles and you can, you know, especially like this one here, really stands out. You can see the windshield, obviously. This car was taking some beating from some pretty big size hail. We got a nice dent here, which looks like it also cracked the paint. Sunroof was blown out, which I know I've never replaced one of those, so I know to replace those, you know, you're looking at about $1,000 in labor. And I don't know if it's something I'd be willing to get into or not. I'm not sure, but I am very interested in this car. It is a V6, the VTEC engine. Look at this hail dent here, guys. Jeez. Wow. That is a major dent right there. That hail, I mean, if something like that hits you, God, I don't even want to think about it, but that is bad. That was a rough one right on the crease, and you know, chipped the paint. The back window's busted out. Looks like the door handle got hit here and busted part of the door handle off. We got some major dents on this one. We got some major dents, guys, but I am seriously considering bidding on it. 52,000 miles. It's a pure sale car, so it's like no reserve. Whatever it sells for, it goes. Dent here, dent here. And another question, I wanted to put this out there for you guys to tell me your thoughts on. Do you think these cars are worth buying as is, fixing the windows and putting them up for sale? Or is it more worth it trying to fix the dents, maybe replace panels like the hood with a color match new hood and try to PDR some of the dents out? Is that worth it? Or do I just sell it as is, as a good daily running, you know, daily driving car? I don't know. You guys tell me. That's always a question that's gone through my head as far as, you know, how far do you take it after, if you win something like this, how far do you take the repair on it? Or do you do minimal and just put it out for sale as a good running and driving car? Because I can guarantee you with 52,000 miles, this car runs fine. This car runs fine. From inside driving it, you'd never be able to tell there's all these little dings on it. I was hoping we would get lucky and maybe, oh, it's got a real bad water smell too. A lot of water, probably from that, obviously from that sunroof leaking. I'm gonna, oof. Ugh. Ugh. That was bad. It's definitely a moldy, smelly, watery, swampy smell in there. Also busted taillight there. Let's see, I don't think I see any lights come on. No, we're not going to be able to start this one. We'll go ahead and see, maybe we'll get lucky. No start on this one, so we're just looking at the car itself. You have to assume, or at least I would assume, with this many miles, like I said, you're not going to have to worry about the mechanical aspect of anything. But we do have a Firehawk in back. Almost brand new looking Firehawk tire. Firehawk in front, almost brand new looking. Tires look like they were very recently put on. Matching set, which you guys hear me say. I like the matching sets. Yep, Firestone Firehawks. Firestone Firehawks all the way around in very good shape. Dents on the side, especially the passenger side, not bad. Very minimal on this side. We do have a couple here. Looks like they might almost already been there. That one, definitely a hail ding there. Roof, we got some pretty major ones up here too. I know PDR guys can pull the headliner down and get a lot of this stuff out. But like I said, how far do you go with it? Because, you know, they're not, you know, they need to get paid too. And it can add up pretty quick when you're dealing with this many dents. But this is one that I definitely am considering bidding on. You got the bumpers, probably, I don't even know why. It looks like this might have been already damaged beforehand because you got some scratches here. Looks like the bumper's off and it's been pulled from its mount a little bit, but the body lines look good. So it probably just needs to be reset, you know, fixed if you wanted to do that. But with the rest of the dents on the car, how far do you take it again, guys? How far do you take it? So this is a quick one for this car because we're not gonna be able to start it. But a good example of one of the hail cars out here that, you know, mechanicals I'm sure are fine. 52,000 miles on a 2014 Honda. There's probably not too much you got to worry about. But what is something like this worth with the hail damage? And is it worth fixing and trying to sell it? As you got to remember too, it's going to be salvaged because of hail. So with all that being said, you guys tell me, comment below, tell me what you think. What's it worth? How far would you go fixing it? Give me an idea, you know, because it's it's, as far as I go, I ask myself that kind of stuff all the time, and it's tough. You know, I'm kind of leaning towards the side of just getting it running and driving and putting it out for sale. But like I said, you guys tell me. We're gonna go find the next one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we found the next one. It was actually supposed to be up last week, and they pushed it out to this week. So it was one of the trucks I wanted to look at for myself. Actually, it's a 2000 and I believe this was a 14 Silverado. Yes, 2014 Silverado, 168,000 miles. Excuse me, a little burp there. Just got done with lunch before I got out here. Tires are dry rot and look like, oh, I'm glad I see that too. There's a lot of spider webs in there. But that looks to me, and this is a water damaged runs and drives truck, 4-wheel drive. But that looks to me like someone probably had some rims on it. It almost looks like this is either lifted or maybe leveled. You got dual exhaust on it. Yeah, these tires are pretty shot. There's no center caps. I'm not, for a 2014, it's kind of higher mileage too, and probably not going to start. Doesn't smell bad. Kind of smells like a car air freshener, a little bit. Not bad at all though. For 168,000 miles, I mean, everything's in pretty decent shape in here. Pretty clean. There is no sunroof, which is, I like sunroofs. Not as much as manual transmissions, but I do like me a sunroof. This thing almost looks like it's like lifted, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You guys tell me if you know better, because to me, it looks like there's a pretty big gap above those wheels there. Like someone's got maybe turned up the stock suspension to get a little extra height out of it. Let's see if we can open this door without hitting anything first. And no spiders or wasps or bugs around here trying to get at me. Nope. Okay. Oh, we do have I see a little bit of, oh, well, that's probably not good. Screen is flashing right now. That probably means the battery's dead, especially if it's been doing that. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, we're completely dead. Four-wheel drive, like I said. Interior clean. Steering wheel's not very tore up. It's actually pretty good condition, which I like. We have an oil change sticker up here, which looks like it was just coming due for an oil change. It's a good sign if someone was keeping up on the oil changes. You got your owner's manual. I mean, this truck is really pretty clean, guys. Really not bad. But water damage. It is water damage. And I always try to feel around the carpets here if I feel any water, any wetness along the floors, and I don't feel any there. I'll feel back here a little farther just to make sure. Yeah, no, I don't feel any water there. We're gonna pop the hood and check the fluids because, like I said, this is one I really considering for myself here. It's just right out of the gates, you gotta figure out something with those tires because that looks like doo-doo. That does not look good. That just looks like some like old stock truck rims on some old dry rotted tires. So that would definitely have to be addressed before anything. Oh, I do see, I just noticed too, and I did not see this in the picture, but someone had some fun with some touch-up paint up here. I'm gonna have to climb on the side of this thing, but oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Someone had some major chips there, and they ended up just globbing touch-up all over, and it's actually peeling off. I'm not gonna mess with that at all, but it's actually peeling off more right there. So, and you got over here too, the same way. I mean, that kind of stuff, without coming out here, guys, I would not have seen that. So you need to get out here. If you're looking at something you want to buy, don't just bid sight unseen. Don't bid blind. Go look at it. If it's too far away from you at a yard that you can't get to, call me if it's near me, or get an inspector from one of the Copart yards. You can, a lot of times they work with third-party inspection crews, and they'll go out there and look at these cars, and they'll give you a lot better idea of what's going on with the car. And they'll make you feel like you were there. I'll make you feel like you were there with the pictures and videos that they provide. And you'll minimize your risk greatly when bidding on something like this. So we're going to get into fluids here a little bit. Like I said, this is a water damage truck. Coolant looks good. It looks great. Right where it's supposed to be. Red GM coolant. Battery is from 419. We can maybe wiggle something around here, get a little power going. No, everything's connected good and tight. It's a Mopar battery, apparently. And this is the 5.3, I'm guessing, in here. Let's see. 5.3, yep. There we go, 5.3. Right there. Can get the oil dipstick way down here. Oh. Well, let's check the oil. This will be a big telltale sign here of what's going on with it. And it looks like we have a little bit. That makes sense. That looks about where I would expect. It's within the normal range, and it's a little bit dirty looking, which would make sense if it was getting ready to need an oil change. So that makes me feel good. Transmission fluid we're going to check next, which is also, could be a major issue on a flood car. The transmission got water into the transmission fluid. Got about a 5-foot long dipstick here. Let's take a look at the fluid here. Guys, not bad at all. Not bad. It looks a little dirty. Probably could use to be changed, but flushed out and replaced with new fluid, but and a filter. But that's not bad, and it looks a little bit overfull, but that's common because while the engine isn't running, all the fluid settles to the bottom and makes it appear like it is overfull. You need to be running the truck so everything is at the proper level before you test it. So that makes me feel better in that aspect too. If I can get the dipstick back in here. There we go. Get in there. And I can't remember in the pictures if there was a water line in this truck, but we're gonna We're gonna go around and see. Oh, and yes there is, and yes there is. Look at the water line on this one, guys. Look at the water line on this one. The right above the, you're like 2 inches above the rocker panel here. Right there, that's the water line, bottom of the doors. And this was salvaged out because of that. So I would hope there wasn't any more major issues going on and someone just used the water to, you know, get their money out of the truck, but that does happen sometimes, and that's another reason why you got to get out here, look at this stuff. You got to come out here, check it out yourself, because that does happen. I'm pretty sure that's kind of how I got the Mustang from Copart. I'm pretty sure the previous owner on that used the flood as a good time to get paid out on a car that he knew was having a major problem, so he, you know, used that as a scapegoat to get as much as he could back out of the car. So, and you know, it worked for him. Didn't work so well for me, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll be able to make some good content out of it for you guys. We got some few dents back here, pretty common, you know, we're probably used for hauling stuff. Another thing I wish it had was a sliding rear window. I'm a big fan of a sliding rear window on trucks, and I'm not a big fan of the straight glass like that, but not a make it or break it for me as far as being interested in it. So one last look here, one last little walk around. You guys got an idea what's going on with this one as far as, you know, it sucks we can't start it, but not a bad truck, guys. Not a bad truck. Looks pretty clean. Looks like it's really not too bad of shape. And I'm going to crawl under this one too and just kind of show you guys underneath. The driver's seat, not tore up. Was there heated seats in here? Yeah, there is. Heated seats too. It's really, I mean, other than a sunroof, you're pretty fully loaded. Other than a sunroof. Check out underneath here. Ooh, spider webs. We're going to slide the other way, away from that. Oh. And underneath is kind of how you'd expect. It's pretty clean. A little bit of dirt here and there, but pretty clean. I don't see any major leaks or, you know, wet areas. All the suspension, from what I could see, the bushings and everything look like they're in good shape. Pretty interested in this one, guys. Pretty interested in bidding on this one. I definitely hope it stays at a low price. Definitely not expecting it to stay at a low price. The trucks lately, and you know, cars in general, but trucks especially, have just been through the roof on bids. But we're gonna be watching this one. I definitely, I always like these trucks. I love the GMs, the Chevys, Sierra, Silverados. The 5.3 is a great engine. Even the 5.7 before that, Vortex, were a great engine. I'm a big fan of the Chevys and GMC trucks like that. So if you can't tell from how I'm talking, but that's about all we can look at on this one. So I got a good idea. You guys tell me what you think about it. We're gonna find the next one. All right, guys, last one up on the list for today. 2013 Toyota. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's FRS, Toyota FRS. I know a lot more about the older cars than I do the newer cars. I don't keep up with the newer ones that well, as you can probably tell. But here we have a 2013 Toyota FRS, I believe. Like I said, forgive me if I'm wrong. It is a hail damage car. And I'm actually checking this one out for my boy Garrett. Garrett, you tell me. Look at this close, man. You tell me, because if you're interested, then it could be yours. But if you're not, I might be bidding on this one for myself, because I like this thing, and you guys will see why a little more in a second. You could probably already guess, but as you can see, this thing is littered with hail damage. It's smaller. It looks like not like some of those previous ones where it had the huge dents from probably, like, you know, baseball, grapefruit size hail. This looks like more of maybe golf ball, you know, penny size hail, and, you know, dime size hail. And it is definitely littered with the dents, but they're not bad. They're not huge dents. They're all smaller dents. And, you know, that may be something that turns you off on the car. You don't like it because of that. But to me, that just looks like every one of those dents I'm looking at is a few dollars off. And maybe, you know, it depends what it sells for and who's bidding on it when the auction goes live. But the chance that there might be a good deal on this one has me very interested. I know these are turbo, rear-wheel drive, and this one, go ahead and the window just went down. We might be able to start this one. we might be able to start this one. Yes, this has power. Oh, guys, I'll be really happy if we can get this thing started. Garrett, I'm sure you'll be happy too. Hear it run a little bit. But it smells good. It smells like clean. It smells like car cleaners and air fresheners. Listed as a runs and drives. Looks like we got some aftermarket exhaust on it. I forgot to take a look at the tires. We got some Falcons in back with pretty good tread. And they'll be ooh, look at this, guys. Pretty big tear in the wheel there, and a little bit of a scuff in the little scratch in the rim. So looks like it got curbed at some point a little bit. Probably doing some D1 drifts, but nah, probably not. Who knows? You never know. If I was in it, I would be, but I wouldn't be hitting any curbs. But there's good tread, Falcon on the front. We got, looks like a trim piece missing there. Not a big deal. They didn't mark the hail damage on the hood, but it is peppered pretty nicely on the hood too, and the side here. I mean, this looks like it took it from every angle. Falcon tire here too with some more curb rash. Tire looks good though. Tire itself looks good. Oh no. Oh yes, that's just a piece of something hanging off the bottom of it, but missing that little trim piece again. Really not bad though. I mean, you clean this thing up, I bet, you're going to see the dents on it, but it's not going to be, a lot of these are like, you don't notice until you're in that certain angle with the light hitting it a certain way. This thing at night, or, in low lighting, you probably wouldn't even see half the dents that are on this. And as you can see, guys, there's one of the main things that got me amped up about this car. Rear-wheel drive, stick shift. I just love my manual transmissions. I can't tell you enough how much I would rather have a manual transmission than anything. But we're gonna check the fluids and fire this one up. Last car of the day. I'm really hoping we get it started, and I'm pretty excited that we will be able to get it started. Body lines, I mean, I don't see any. All the paint looks original. All the body lines look good. You got, matching gaps. Actually, you do not have matching gaps. Okay, so here's a good example right here. I'm glad I noticed that just now. Good example right here. If you follow, this hood has been off, or it's been some kind of wreck in the front before. Probably minor, because it doesn't look like there's been any paint work done, but it has affected the body line here. If you follow the body line from the hood to the fender down on the passenger side, it's very, very tight right there. Too tight, and almost touching. That's not right at all. The gap across the front here looks okay. It's a little tighter on this side, but it's not bad. And the gap on this side, yeah, you have a big gap here. Big gap, and then it gets more of where it's supposed to be up in this area. So one thing just to consider, it's also, you can tell by the headlights, it's been out in the weather. It hasn't been kept in a garage or anything like that. If it had been, you wouldn't have as much oxidation of the headlights here, which I can fix that. I can make these look, 90% again with some wet sanding and buffing, but, just stuff to be aware of. The rest of the paint on the car, because of that, has also been out in the weather. So, once you get this thing cleaned up, you may find that the paint is faded a little bit in areas, or has, I can already see on the fender here, which makes me think maybe the hood has been painted, that, I don't know if this is going to come out on camera, but it's very dull right here. Very dull, like it's been, faded over time, or had some kind of abrasive material on it. And then you get to the hood, and the hood looks like a darker, shinier color. So that could be fresh paint on the hood. And we're going to get a closer look at that right now. Get this hood opened up. Hit the trunk button while we're here. Check that out too. The hot version. Not sure what that entails, but very little mini trunk to be expected with this kind of car. But all this looks like it opens up good. Nothing ever, these bolts have never been touched, so it's never had any reason, and never had any removal of the rear trunk lid, which is a good thing. Pop this hood open here and see what kind of beast we got lurking under here. Oh, geez, look at that. The T4S boxer engine. Okay. Subaru. I know you guys probably got you point at the sky for a second here, but I got to get this hood prop in here. I can find out where to put it. There, it'll work. All right, guys. Look at this. Look at that beast. It looks very similar. You know, you got the horizontally opposed boxer engine they've been using forever. It looks very, you know, it looks very much like any of the other Subaru engines. Just, I'm not sure what liter or anything it is. I believe these are maybe 2 liter. We have some very clean looking oil. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that off of my pants because it looked a little over full, but I just want to make sure I'm getting a correct reading on it. So thank you, Dickie Shorts. I actually kind of smell a little bit of coolant. The low mileage on the car. I think it had 68,000 miles on it. We'll double check that in a second. No, oil is good, right where it should be. Oil is good and right where it should be. And to be, you know, you expect that with a hail damaged car like this. It should be good mechanically. I mean, unless someone was filing the hail damage to get themselves out of some more serious mechanical problems, it should be good mechanically. Seats are definitely nice little performance seats. Kind of, you know, hold you snug and tight in here. I'll get the seat scooted up, scooted up. Now let's see if she'll start, guys. Let's see if she'll start. We got the 6-speed transmission, aftermarket deck in here, and looks like we got power. So we got 2 sets of keys, which 3 sets of keys actually. We got the valet key and the 2 original keys, which is pretty crazy. If you guys, I don't think I've mentioned that either at the auctions. The cars here, you're lucky to have 1 set of keys a lot of times. All right, let's see. Started right up. Sounds good. Started right up. Sounds good. We'll let that run for a minute and warm up before we rev it up at all. Check out the AC because it would feel really nice right now to have some AC, which I'm thinking it probably should work fine. It feels warm right now. We'll give that a second. We got no check engine lights. We do have it's like a tire pressure monitor light. The AC is getting cold. 68,047 miles. What's this here? What is this? Looks like a license plate bracket. Maybe it broke off from the hail. RPMs just jumped and dropped a little bit. That was kind of weird, but not bad. I don't see any oil change sticker. AC is not the coldest. It definitely it's trying, but oh, and we also, from the sun, guys, remember, like I was mentioning, you know, this thing being out in the sun, this dash, you could tell, is a little not bad. I mean, not bad. Probably a little bit of interior cleaner and shiner, bring it right back to life, but it is a little faded. And one thing I do notice is the glue has failed here. This little piece of trim is starting to pop up. I'm not going to mess with it too much, but you can tell there's a little gap there. See that? You can tell that should be all flush and against that glued down correctly, but the sun has caused the glue to fail. The heat. VSC Sport, which is just traction control off, it looks like. Oh, it actually, there's a separate traction control button here. That's weird. Look at the light here that comes on. If I press the sport button, this one here, up here, I get the VSC, if you guys can see that, VSC Sport, and it looks like the traction control off light, but then if I press this button, that comes on. So I'm a little confused. So I'm not sure, maybe it's for stability. I'm not sure, guys. As you can tell, these are don't have a lot of experience with the newer vehicles like this, but it does feel like it's running good. Let's see if the important window works. Yes it does. both windows work. Looks like we're starting to come up to temps. We'll give it a little rev here. Ooh, that sounds different from a lot of the Toyota or Toyota engines. Definitely sounds different from a lot of the Toyota engines I've heard, but it also sounds different from a lot of the Subaru engines I've heard. Oh yeah. Let's see how the clutch feels. Goes right into gear. All the gears feel good. Reverse feels good. We're in reverse. Let's see if she goes back on her own. What she does. First gear, go forward. What she does, clutch feels good. Clutch feels very good. Oh, guys, tell me what you think. I just want to go ripping this thing around the parking lot right now, but obviously we can't. But if we win it, we can. Not this parking lot, but I'll find a parking lot. But unfortunately, not going to be today or this one, unless we win it. It even comes with almost a full tank of gas. So, AC is still trying. It's gotten a little bit cooler, but it's definitely probably just needs a charge. It is working, but it's not as cold as it should be. Looks like we got a Colorado plate here. U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service. But Colorado plate. I think they use sand up there instead of salt, so I don't think it's rusty, but we will just take a quick look underneath this before we call it quits for the day here. I'm gonna do a couple more revs on this and just see how it sounds. Oh, guys, it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good. I wish I had someone else here with me so I could go do an exhaust video, but oh, she sounds good. She sounds good. We'll do a quick walk around, one last rev, and then we're gonna have to get out of here. Look at that too. Little Porsche. Might have to put that. Might have to do one more car before we get out of here. But this one, this FRS is a pretty solid looking car, guys. Pretty solid looking car. Someone's got some, done a few little modifications to it, like the exhaust here. I believe, at least. I don't think that's stock exhaust. You got some good tires. You got the wheels on it. Really, not a bad car if you can get it for a good price. And that's seems to be the biggest struggle lately out here. But we went over the hail damage. We went over the mechanicals. She's idling good. Air conditioning needs a little bit of a charge. We got a lot of little hail dings. Most of them on the smaller side, but very significant as far as quantity of them, because there are a lot of them. We'll give it one more rev here. I just want you guys to turn off that AC. The AC actually is getting a little cooler. It's getting cooler and cooler, but it shouldn't take that long. It needs a little shot of Freon. We'll give it one more rev here for you guys before we call it. Oh, I want to go play right now so bad. All right, guys. Well, that's all we're going to be showing for the FRS, but I am very seriously considering bidding on this one. Garrett, you tell me what you think after you take a look at this, because in my opinion, pretty good car sitting here, as long as you don't mind the little hail things. So we're gonna watch this one, see what it goes for. I'll bring you that in an upcoming video. And for now, we're gonna get out of here. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a gorgeous Friday afternoon. I've had an awesome time being out here checking out some cars. Hope you guys did too. We're got a few cars to seriously consider. That FRS is on my mind. I still want to go rip it around the parking lot.
That Silverado could be a really good truck for a daily driver work truck for myself. Not to mention the Honda for the flip, and I got a lot of cars to consider coming up for Monday. So, and today's Friday, so I'm gonna be doing some research this weekend, kind of get my head around the values of these cars, see where I feel comfortable bidding on them at, and make sure I stick to those bids. Like I tell you guys, do your homework, know what the values are, and pick a price where you're comfortable at, and make sure when that live bid comes up, you don't let your emotions get the best of you and outbid your own max bid, because that's where you can get yourself in trouble. So we're going to get on out of here. We're going to keep our fingers crossed for next week. Maybe we can win one or a couple of these cars. It'd be awesome. It's been tough lately, like I said, but always got my hopes up and always love being out here. So we're gonna hope for the best, see what happens Monday. We'll get back with you then and see you in the next video. Guys, have a good weekend.